Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Friday. We are wrapping up the week here on 412 Productions. Thank you guys so much for spending some of your Friday afternoon with me, wrapping up the week with me. Jump into chat wherever it is you choose to watch right now. Say hello. We'll give you a shout out during our roll call, and away we go. We'll start the show in about 5 minutes. At the top of the 4 o'clock hour, I see Q-Boys and Silebor out there. What's up, guys? Good to see you over on D Live. We got Archer's Not, Tim Buck2, Gooner Mom, Joe Elaine, and our super mod Joe Elaine over on Rumble. Always love seeing the English Patriots storm our chat on our Daddy Dragon visits, which is always very exciting. So good to see you guys over there. And of course, make sure all of our friends over there in England, you know how to find your way over to pill.net, which will be the exclusive place to watch hour number 2 of our show today. Delia in the comfy bunker first. Good to see you, Delia. Hope all is well. Lance Lightsphere, Floyd, good to see you, my friend. And Delia with 500 gold pills says 50-year divided by or 2609 week exact delta on Friday, August 9th of 1972. Richard Nixon resigned the presidency. This date in history brought to you by Delia's donation. Thank you, Delia. Due diligence says a fajita Friday, and we did see more than a fajita Friday, and did we see more than what we have? I don't know what you mean by that, Floyd. I'm a little confused. Joe, thank you for modding. As always, greatly appreciate all you do. Patriot 714, D Richard out there as well. Good to see HL Paco in the house. Truth Teller 101 out there. Good to see all you guys hanging out early, having your little pre-show convo in the live chat here. Hey, R Harold, what's going on? Good to see you as well. Range Pony Fazic, welcome you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see who else. Don Ritchie 17. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. Snow Bunny 68 out there as well. Raid on Antifa, raiding the channel. Thank you for that. Sending your people over our way. Matt 1776, Mighty Patriot, Hugh 65, Cat Anonymous, Ghost Pepper, Andy Joanne, God Bless America, Dread Quarters, Deplorable, and Tawanda, Spazoyetti, all coming over in the chat. Raising Kane as well. Lucy Anders, good to see you. Dave 75 out there. Cynthia made it to a roll call. What's up, Cynthia? Happy Friday. Jeff Den up in Canada. Q&A holes. Laura Y repping the 412. Let's go, Laura. Too quick. Good to see you. Dangleberry and Sig, your Dragon Slayer out there as well. Hey, curious one, Jenny, say hi to Lyle for me. Great to see you both out there. Maxanon, repping Rise Attire, USA.com. They got some cool stuff that we're going to announce a bit later here on the show. They've got a big live stream at 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow that you guys are not going to want to miss. Roy Stones and Bones over on the West Coast. Floyd says there's more in the body cam footage from J13. Yes, I've seen some of that stuff. We might even cover some of that stuff depending on how this show flows. Tired of the bullshit. You and me both, buddy. Good to see you. Tracy Truthism out there. Good to see you as well. Qhio 17 and Thong Chaser. What's going on? We got Paul Sefton, D and Sapper 69, Jingle Blue, Neil 56, Sue Lynn, Merlin 1215Q, Keck Rangel out there, and 14 Skin, John 812, English veteran, changed my picture, Milking It Jenkins, Lakeland, Samantha Pink Panther, Tyrant Sout out there, or Tyrants Out, rather. I'll figure these out as I go. Timbuktu, Archer's Not. Good to see all of our English friends piling into the Rumble. Again, guys, make sure you know how to get into pilled.net. That is where we will be exclusively broadcasting here in hour number 2 of the show. So you can watch hour number 1 over there, but hour number 2, you got to go to pilled.net in your browser and find us at 412 Productions. Filter Dog 1, Bro Dude, Wooderson 79, Old Bill, Spirit 554 in the house. Bro Dude says, great to see you, bro. Great to see you too, my friend. And I think that's a good place to start the show because the raid is coming in. The raid is coming in from all the pinata holics. And I tell you what, we just don't have time to read all your names. What's up, the gray man? I'll read your name. And yeah, I see you, Russian bot. All right. Flawless in USA, you're the last one. I mean it. I mean it. We are starting the show. See you guys in a minute.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MS7, now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all, I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall, we're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong, stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production, Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We make all function, every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult Nero is the power that's controlling the plight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may either find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they can find. They're just slaves in the system till the roles are assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight, but I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride, watch the water. We're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, replacing with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes, just start lacing our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops, now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess, they want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful, then you're gone. But not us, we're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adult Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adult Nero.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, and happy Friday. Thank you guys for wrapping up the week with us on 412 Productions with another installment of Deplorable Discussions. Riding shotgun with me today is Drunk Pinata and our special guest, Graham Moore. You guys know him as Daddy Dragon, checking in from across the pond. He's summoning his inner cowboy right now, and I am here for it. Graham, it's always so good to have you, man. How you been?
I'm very well, thank you. Let me take this hat off for a second. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear you properly. I've got to make a cowboy out with little earphones on it. Fine. There's obviously plenty going on over here, so we'll talk about that. Hopefully, quite a few of my I'm definitely being attacked for some reason online. I couldn't get the Rumble channel up, so Hopefully this is going to work on yours because it's your one going up there.
Yeah, no, it seems to be working good on my end here. So hopefully we maintain a good connection. And yeah, I can't wait to hear all about. There's so much I want to ask you about over on your side of the pond, and I also want to get your thoughts on some of the craziness happening here stateside as well. So it's a perfect time to have you on, Graham. Thank you for joining. And yeah, we'll have a good conversation today. Also, of course, my OG, Mr. Drunk Pinata, hanging out, coming in hot off his show, Thinking Logically, with many of you out there in the chat. Drunk Pinata, happy Friday, sir. How we doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing today?
I am awesome, man. It's Friday. I'm in a good mood. I'm going to see a bunch of my favorite bands tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm just very, very high energy, high spirits today. So looking forward to getting into some of this bullshit with you guys here. How was your show, man? What would you guys talk about today?
Well, pretty calm. What they're trying to make it seem as though they've invented political rallies, and that Trump, oh, look at him. He doesn't even know how to run a campaign. Doesn't he know he's supposed to have rallies? It's like he's been doing rallies for 8 years, but they're trying to make it seem as though this is some brilliant political strategy to hold a rally with Kamala Harris. Yeah, they're trying to say, look at how brilliant her campaign is by holding rallies.
He'll do like 3 in a day.
I
Like,
know, and it's just
so funny. Yeah.
And they're boasting about her crowd sizes. They're like, there's 12,000 here, there's 15 here, there was 10 over here. It's like, sure, in a very heavily Democrat area where you haven't had a rally essentially in what, 6 years, because Biden didn't do it. Hillary did it, but it was small.
Do you have? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but do you have like a clip of this or like any example of this? Because it's so absurd. Like I find it hard to imagine they would actually boast about rallies and crowd sizes.
Yeah. Sure. 1 second here. Right about here.
Of all the things, that's like the one thing.
Trump and Project 2025, yes, it's still a thing, would be for working men and women in America. But we begin tonight with a lesson in how to and how not to run a presidential campaign. First, the how to. Just look to the Harris-Walz campaign. In short order, you are seeing a well-organized operation that has hit the ground running, not only barnstorming critical battleground states, but bringing big crowds with them. 14,000 showed up at Vice President Kamala Harris's first event with her VP pick, Governor Tim Walz, on Tuesday. Yesterday, there were 12,000 out in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and last night, more than 15,000 people filled a hangar at the Detroit Metro Airport. There is no understating the level of enthusiasm and energy seen this week at those rallies. And perhaps as important, if not more, is that their speeches are forward-looking, filled with positive messages for what Harris and Walz would bring in the next administration, and not just filled with anger or fear-mongering or running through a list of grievances, and thankfully no mentions of sharks or Hannibal Lecter. Vice President Harris continued that today, speaking to United Auto Workers members in Detroit.
We're saying we just want fairness. We want dignity.
All right, hang on. Let's jump ahead.
Agrees as he remains multiple go out and meet. First off, it kind of helps if you take the time to actually go out and meet the voters. While Harris and Walz have been putting in the miles, hitting multiple states this week with more to go, all Trump has done is hit the putting greens as he remained holed up at Mar-a-Lago. Wasn't he the one who was complaining throughout his New York criminal trial earlier this year that all he wanted to do was be on the campaign trail? Well, today was the first time he took a break from his demanding schedule of walking around a putting green and eating McDonald's cheeseburgers and maybe stuffing a few nuclear documents behind his golden toilets to hold a press conference at his Florida estate. And it was exactly the misogynistic, cognitively declining stream of consciousness you would expect. Okay.
No votes, no support.
Oh, Grampy. Okay, that was just a small sampling of the bad crap bonkers statements that he made. We will not subject you to the rest. You're welcome. But just to set the record straight, and I cannot believe that I have to do this. Here's a picture of the
The other part, hang on, she gets to it.
Not everyone wanted to see Roe v. Wade overturned. The only ones who wanted it back in the States were Donald Trump's far-right evangelical base. And when it comes to Harris becoming the nominee, his deteriorating mind is clearly fusing the 2020 primaries with the ones this year, as he apparently thinks that Harris just ran for president in this year's Democratic primary, when in fact,
No,
she was on the primary ballots this year
actually, she was not.
with Joe Biden.
No, she was not.
as his
Wow,
vice
that I'm trying to
president.
sell that.
That's how that works.
No, that's not how that works at all.
They're like so desperate. I can't believe they went.
Now here's another thing. Oh my gosh, dude, I got one more for you. You're not gonna even believe this.
Lay it on me, man. This is one of my highlights of my days, is seeing what these idiots have to say.
Appeal and symbols walls with all of his fun life. From the Harris games all combined, the kind of stuff Tim Walz has been talking up, well, that's no accident, because the Harris campaign and many Democrats see Walz as living that life, from teacher to coach to veteran. I bet you've heard about it by now, that he embodies it all, that in his political appeal and symbols, Walz with all of his fun family business.
Actually, I need to go back. Sorry.
One tries to grab an ice cream from the freezer or the truck if they can, a popsicle from one of those trucks that drives through the area, playing the tune we all know. And people have their different favorites. One classic is the patriotic firecracker popsicle you see here. I bet you've seen it before. Those iconic stripes of red, white, and blue. Honestly, it's the kind of treat that any bipartisan leader can appreciate. The spirit that red and blue not only can coexist, but even thrive together. And if the colors drip and combine a little bit, so be it. Now, if these scenes evoke kind of classic suburban Americana, where families and local schools and football games all combine, the kind of stuff Tim Walz has been talking up, well, that's no accident, because the Harris campaign and many Democrats see Walz as living that life, from teacher to coach to veteran. I bet you've heard about it by now, that he embodies it all, that in his political appeal and symbols, Walz with all of his fun family business is a firecracker popsicle. Think about it.
I thought.
Red and
pause
blue.
for a second?
You see the red.
Now tell me that the next thing they're going to brag about is how many of those popsicles Kamala Harris can fit into her mouth at the same time. Because my guess is at least 6. I'm guessing she could easily take out 6 of those popsicles at once. I don't know. I just get the feeling. Anyway, go ahead.
At first, if you open the wrapper a bit, you might only see that red initially. You certainly taste the red first. And it's a lot of red up top. But over time, you get to the blue. And that's almost kind of the heart or center of it. You start red, but end blue. And most people find, if I may make an observation about popsicle life, they like that blue. Dem strategists see Walz as that political popsicle, the visible red at the top, but so much blue inside, with his many heartland symbols associated with something that this red and MAGA Republican cohort have tried to seize. From the literal color red, right? Red is just a color, but in politics we know what it means, to the flag pins, to the camo, to the entire collection of cultural signifiers which they claim are somehow only specific to red states, even if we know better, from family values and the role of a strong providing father, to football and its inspiration, its grit, its vibe. There's Coach Walz. To those schools themselves, which MAGA has tried to own and seize, and policy, from what books are allowed to how teachers can include or exclude students in conversations. That's something Walz knows about from actually doing it. To the other symbol that's gotten so much attention lately, the hunting and gun culture. Is that only red, like the political map or the popsicle? Tim Walz is part of gun culture, from the National Guard to Minnesota hunting life. But like a lot of gun owners who could wrongly be seen as somehow purely right-wing red, the top of that popsicle gives way to a more moderate center-left blue. Policies that, in his case, balance gun use and liking guns, which is how he'd put it, with safety. Now, is that all blue? Maybe not. No. He also does not want to confiscate people's guns, but it's certainly more of a flavor mix of red and blue than what you might get at first glance. How serious is this analogy I'm sharing with you tonight? Very. This is the cold truth, if you will. Walls presents and represents some of these symbols, which you probably know about this, and I'm reminding you of it. The right wing has tried to annex as if it was just their own. You're the only one interested in self-defense or hunting or football. Almost sounds unserious, but it is what they've tried to do, despite the actual more diverse, rich nuances of American life and culture in states red, blue, and otherwise.
Now, what do you think that they're doing here?
They're trying to sell him as a moderate. They're trying to.
But who are they selling it to? They're not selling it to you or me.
No.
They have to sell that to their base, which means they understand, or at least Ari does, that they still have work to do to get people to accept this ticket of pure socialism.
Yeah, I mean, he's a self-described socialist, this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That whole segment is not. It's not for us. They're trying to calm down the MSNBC crowd.
That's a great call. That's a great call. Pinata. What a cringy segment. That's so bad. But yeah, thank you. So crowd sizes, they're trying to sell us on crowd sizes and the fact that a self-described socialist is somehow moderate in any way. Love that. Anything else, Pinata, we should know about from the mainstream today?
No, not really. I mean, they're still trying to make Project 2025 a thing. But so yeah, it's been mostly about saying that Donald Trump doesn't know how to campaign. Why isn't he campaigning? Which he is. He's just doing different things. And then he said at the press conference, he said he's doing all these different ad recordings, all these different video shoots. So it's not like he's doing nothing. So, and that's what he says he's doing, and I take him at his word on that. So it's all about, look at how much enthusiasm, it's like they told us, Graham, the media came out when they said that this is totally organic and impossible to manufacture. So if the media tells me that, well, then I say it's definitely not organic and it's totally manufactured, right?
It must be true. It just must be. All right, let's take care of our sponsor, and then I am very much looking forward to getting into some of this stuff going on over in England with our man Graham Moore here. And I'll be quick with the sponsor today because you guys are all very well familiar with Earth Garden Botanical, our friend Jolene's operation up in Montana. Amazing products, guys. CBD and hemp products. You have white pine needle extract, a sunshine and pine needle tea for detoxing, fire cider, elderberry tonic, the critter juice. You guys know all about it. Go check it out. earthgardenbotanicals.com. Promo code 412 gets you 10% off. Jolene's a health coach. She's an herbalist. She's a freaking badass, a patriot, a total genius. These products are top notch, organically and ethically sourced, every last one of them. So you're in good hands over there. Again, earthgardenbotanicals.com. Promo code 412 at checkout to get your 10% discount. So big thank you to all of you guys who go and support the sponsor and the channel through the sponsor. And yeah, please give us a thumbs up, a red pill, a repost. Please share the link wherever it is you may be watching. And thank you guys again for spending some of your Friday afternoon with us here today. Daddy Dragon, there is absolute chaos going on over in your neck of the woods, man. I'm seeing like what looks like a borderline civil war breaking out on the streets. People walking around with machetes, protests, counter protests, all out riots. I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going on over there. So walk me through it. Take me through the buildup of it. What kind of, sparked the powder keg to have things really kind of blow up here recently, and what the current state of the situation is over in England?
Well, the main thing is this is obviously a continuous culmination of events. But a few weeks back, we had some Muslims in Manchester Airport for whatever reason, and I did actually say to people there was a line to be drawn with police brutality towards them. The police officer tasered one of them after he punched a woman police officer. I don't know why he did it. But my point is the police officer tasered him. He dropped. Then the police officer kicked him in the face, stamped on his head and drop-kneed him in the kidney, right? So
this was a Muslim person that got beat up by the police?
Yeah,
okay.
Right. So there was, and again, all these people, so-called far right, was cheering on the police. And what I was trying to say to people is, be careful what you wish for,
right?
Because if you're going to cheer it on for that, when they turn that power on you, you'll understand why you should never have been cheering it on, right?
Right.
So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not in favour of people beating up women police officers, but women police officers are police officers, just the same as men, and there could have been various reasons why that all kicked off, and we're not privy to that, right? So the media was showing what they wanted to show. So leading on from that, there was the murder of 3 young girls. A 17-year-old attacked a dance class in Southport, which is basically Liverpool, gone in there knowing it was children, knowing technically it was white children, and I'm talking about very young children all the way up. A couple of adults got stabbed as well. This may be distressing to some people, but it's got to be said. He didn't just stab the kids. He grabbed their hair and was stabbing them in the face, right? This is abhorrent in every possible way.
What's the motive? Like, where does that kind of hatred come from? Like, what drives a person to do something like that? Like, do you guys have the same? Like over here, when someone goes and shoots up a school, you can almost guarantee that they're on some kind of therapy and antidepressant or something that's like messed with their brain and completely detached them from reality. Is it similar over there? Or are people like over medicated in England the way that they are here in the United States?
100%. And any form of medication, for example, I used to suffer from depression. I've got rid of everything that they've given me. I'm on none of their medication. If I need anything, there's other things that I take, which are natural herbal medication to bring me mood back up, right? Yeah. That can't harm you. The stuff that they're giving out in the mainstream, it could have been, and people don't really know what they're smoking. Different forms of cannabis can affect your brain. It can make you into something that you shouldn't be. It can affect your mood, etc. But the crucial part of this was that there was lots of stories about it's a Muslim, and there was some fake names come out. Just to let everyone know, I never put the names out until I actually knew who it was. And it turns out it's by the way, they said it's a Welshman from Cardiff. Right, he's a Welshman from Cardiff. It turns out that both his parents were political asylum from Rwanda. Well, okay. What everyone should understand is, so one, he's black. 2, and most people were saying that really does depict what you're trying to portray this guy as a Welshman, right? But the second, don't forget, there's Indigenous Welsh, Indigenous English, Indigenous Scots, Indigenous Irish, right? Use the proper term for people, not ethnic this or ethnic that, right? We are Indigenous Englishmen and Indigenous Welshmen, etc. Now, the main problem was that they had pushed this over as a Welshman. It all started to kick off. But when people then started to protest, and they did in numbers, there was a big protest, and they took this guy into custody, and then someone else had a knife at a protest, and the police have arrested that person. So there was lots of things going on, but a lot of people, and there was a lot of false information about saying there was a Muslims, right? We have got, if you want to call it an Islamic problem in this country, without any doubts, right? Not being funny, Christians technically don't go around killing each other unless they're bred to hate each other, such as Northern Ireland. If you look at who's behind that, it was the Jesuits and the socialists, right? The IRA were socialists. If you look at their Green Book, which is the Constitution, they're sworn to socialism. So there's a whole different arena. So that kicked off that riot, and what they've done, and then it started to spread. There was contagion over the weekend to other countries, to other counties and other cities, and it became a big problem for the state. There were other riots before that in Leeds from another group of people, Romanians or the Roma. No police arrests. In fact, you can see the police running away from them and wearing soft hats and, let us talk to you, etc. So there is a disparity in the way they're treating us, meaning the indigenous population, and the immigrants, if you want to call it that. Whether they be second generation or not is irrelevant. They're not indigenous, right?
Why is that, Daddy Dragon? Why do you think you're getting this two-tiered policing between the immigrants and indigenous people? Is that coming from above, or is it something
very much so?
Okay, explain that. Like, who's giving that order? Why would they do that? What's the end game here?
Right, the end game is divide and rule, which the British in particular have honed over centuries. The end game, the people in control of the cabinet. So I want people, especially the American audience, to understand what I'm saying at the moment. The Fabian Society are a Marxist, they call themselves a think tank. They're not a think tank. They actually control the Labour Party, or in America, the Democrat Party. Obama is a Fabian. Clintons are Fabians. Many of the Democrats in America are Fabians, the Fabian Society. You can go and look at a book, and it's called The Fabian Highway into the USA. And then it's written underneath socialism. Great book, tells you the blueprint for destroying England is the same blueprint that they're using for the United States of America at the moment. And it is done via centralization, or the federal, what you've got is the federal government, Washington, D.C., right? You should be independent states, right? So there's various elements of it. So the people controlling this currently, just to make sure everyone's aware, the Fabian Society elected 141 people in the last general election. The cabinet, right, is entirely made up of Fabians. Keir Starmer is a Fabian, an executive member. When we arrested him in 2018 for subverting the English Constitution, in other words, treason, he was on the list. We also citizens arrested, and it went all around the world, another Fabian, and his name's Sadiq Khan, right? So people need to understand who the Fabian Society is. They're committed Marxists. Karl Marx is, the doctrines of Karl Marx is what they're actually carrying forward. So once people understand that, the last time the Fabians were in control of the cabinet, we went to war on a lie of weapons of mass destruction against Iraq, right? Okay. These people are all linked to what they're actually doing. So once you understand that the Marxists have got complete control of the country, they've got complete control of academia, they've got complete control of the government, they've got complete control of what we call the civil service, right? So recently, the head of the civil service, Jeremy Hayward, who's recently died, he was a Fabian executive, right? So that's like the seventh floor. They always stay there. And it doesn't matter who's elected. Conservatives are Fabians, Lib Dems are Fabians, and the Labour Party are Fabians. So once people understand that Marxism has got control, and they are now controlling the country. In the left, you got in Wales, it's got a left organisation in areas of region. Scotland is the same, and it's an attack on England and a common law jurisdiction and the constitution of England. That's what they seek to destroy. That's what you're seeing going on. Then what happened? All of the media, and I'm talking about all factions of the media, which shows they're the umbrella and the enemy of the people, because without them, their crookedness and their being completely untruthful and spreading lies, they are the people that then said on Monday night or Tuesday night, there's going to be riots, the right wing are going to be rioting all over the country. Straight away, I said to myself, that's very odd, because technically the right wing all work, right? Yeah. And the only time we come out and protest is on a Saturday and a Sunday when we get a day off, right?
Yeah.
The people that go out on a Monday night, a Tuesday night, Wednesday nights and carry on doing, that's the left. They're the ones who are generally working for the state, being paid for the next day off via our taxes, or receiving benefits, bearing in mind it's a welfare state. And what's more than that, they're busting by the unions. So I thought it was very odd. Why would that? And then it turns out that there wasn't any. And then they're talking about this fictitious group that doesn't exist anymore and never existed with a membership called the English Defence League. So they're promoting that the English Defence League are going to be in these areas. Anyone knows anything about the English Defence Leagues knows it was disbanded in 2014. So there's a fictional group of right wing demonstrating and technically they're saying rioting, but then they're bussing these people in, and it turns out the whole thing was a load of nonsense. The only people turning up to these places were handfuls of communists, basically Marxists. And then again, what they did was they've used facial recognition on the crowds. Anyone even swearing at a police officer. I mean, there's guys now today have received 2.5 years for voicing, their discontent of what's going on. People getting their houses kicked in, using chainsaws to take their doors off, right? And then rushing in. And this is a complete abuse of the English Constitution, freedom of expression, freedom of thought, freedom of speech. And there's many people now saying, yeah, but the European Convention of Human Article 10. But people don't realise Article 10 of the European Convention of Human Rights is basically limited, right? Whereas the English Bill of Rights is not limited. And they're pushing that they want this European Convention for Human Rights, even though they are what's known as qualified rights. We're not interested in qualified rights. I'm an English constitutionalist. The same as we should be armed, right? We've still got that in our Bill of Rights. The English gave that to America. It wasn't the British, it was the English. So all of this is going on in the background. And again, over 500 people, I think, to date have been arrested. So far, about 150 have been sent to prison and been convicted, when technically they've done nothing wrong. But the two-tier system, none of the people that are allegedly opposing, if you want to call them Marxists, if you want to call them anti-racist, it's all nonsense, right? None of them. I mean, you had one guy, he's a member of the Labour Party, he's a Labour councillor, just down the road, lives just down the road from me, right? He's on video, right, telling the crowd to cut the throats, the fascist throats, cut their throats. Everyone's saying, he's telling people, he's telling the crowd to go away and cut people's throats, right? He's been suspended, not expelled, suspended from the Labour Party or the Democrat Party, right? It looks like he's now been arrested on a misdemeanor, right? I mean, how anyone can say that's not promoting terrorism, I don't know, considering what he's actually promoting. And again, the two-tier, exactly what you're seeing in America, we've had here for a long time. Right? It's a two-tier justice system. The political ideology of Marxism is ingrained within the judiciary. Our powers of separation has been removed, and even good historians like David Starkey are getting it so wrong by suggesting that Parliament is sovereign. It isn't sovereign. The people are sovereign, right? So once we can show it and prove it. So more and more people now are asking me to come along to their events. We've got a big event coming up in Manchester on the 25th of August. In 1819, white working class, 50 to 70,000 of them, stood up in Manchester, unarmed, against the British and said, we want the vote. We want the right to vote. We didn't have the right to vote, right?
Uh-huh.
And the British cavalry rode into them with their cutlasses drawn and hacked them down. Men, women, babes in arms, a pregnant woman, they stabbed her through the stomach, killed the baby and her, right? Wow. 19 people died. 700 people were injured from the cavalry charge against unarmed English men and women in Manchester. So on the 25th, it's the anniversary of that. There's a memorial there when we're going there to explain to people, you've caused this, right? Them people died for your right to vote and went up against the British. This is passive resistance, right? I spoke to my dad, who's 94, the other day, and he sat there. He's now chair-bound, not just house-bound. He said, what are you going to do now, boy? And I said, we're going to stand up as people. They can't stop us, right? We have a right to stand up and rebel against the British, right? That's what we're going to do. And we are using passive resistance, right? And then my dad went to me, last person who did that and won against the British was a guy called Gandhi, right? Passive resistance. Get the numbers out there. And that's what we're trying to do. But the media won't promote us. The media won't promote passive demonstrations. And we need everyone to come out. Black, white, brown. I don't care what religion you are, right? Get out there on the streets, because these people who are in control of this country don't care about any of you. They ain't got your interests at heart, and they will slaughter the lot of you tomorrow if they could.
Man, that's super intense. And again, just the one-sided nature of it. So you have basically a Democrat elected official promoting terrorism and violence. And you said he got a misdemeanor for that?
They've charged him with a misdemeanor offence.
Now, what would be the sentencing for that? Let's say he's found guilty of that misdemeanor offense. Is that the same 2.5 years that you would get for swearing at a cop, or no?
No. I mean, I'm swearing at a cop and remonstrating with the police. Really, so technically it's already been proven, and again, I've got all the paperwork for that. You can swear at a police officer. The High Court has already said you can swear at a police officer. It's not unlawful. It may be immoral, but it's not illegal. It's not unlawful to swear at a police officer, and they're paid enough money to use restraint, and it should be water off a duck's back. But if the police, as they are currently, are very obviously two-tier policing. We've seen it, and it is aggravating everyone. Part of me believes that I do believe we're winning, right? And the reason we're winning is more and more people, when you go and speak to people and get out and actually speak to people, they can also, even the normies, what we call the normies, are seeing what's going on. And it's fairly obvious. And don't forget, you've got, two soldiers. There was a soldier, I don't know if you know, but I think he was a lieutenant colonel in a barracks not far from me, literally 25 miles down the road from me. He's come out of his house in the morning, black guy, motorbike, got off his motorbike and stabbed him about 10 times. No one's even talking about it, right? That's a soldier, right? And they've attempted to kill him on the streets outside the bus. So one of the things that people are not looking at, that happened on the day or the day after that another guy called Anjem Chowdhury, right, who was a British solicitor and a Muslim, got found guilty of terrorist offences and was put back in prison. He got a life sentence and a 28-year rec, which means he must serve a minimum of 28 years before he's considered for parole. The very next day or the same day, this black geezer's outside one of our barracks stabbing one of our soldiers, right? Now, he's still in hospital. No one knows what's happened to him. They haven't told us. Prior to that, you had Lee Rigby in another place just up the road from me up there, right? Which is why everyone keeps saying to me, get out of London, right?
Yeah.
You got it kicking off. They beheaded the fella, right? I drove that route every day to work. They hacked his head off. They run him over, right? And everyone was saying, calm, 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 right? The thing is, these people, they have raped, right? They have systematically raped white English girls, and the police, the same people, the same politicians in charge now, right, told the police that children who are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right, who are engaging in sexual activity with these groups of men are just child prostitutes. And they told them, no, that's what they told them, right? And they told the police not to use the law to prosecute them because they're child prostitutes. We had one incident, right, where the dad of one of the girls went into an house to drag his daughter out, who was 12 or 13, right? They plied her with a drink. They'd given her drugs and alcohol, right? They was in the process of raping her, right? Because it is underage and it is rape, right? The police arrested the father and left the men alone. So when people start to see in the total of everything, and everyone's had enough now, they're now flooding these people, just like they're doing in Texas, and people are not. So you're seeing people coming over the border. What you're not actually seeing are all the people landing on planes that are being allowed in, not only in America, but I think President Trump said the other day that something like 20 million people have come in the last 5 years. Some ridiculous figure, right?
Yeah.
It's country changing. The same is for this country. Everyone's looking at the English Channel and the boats coming across. What they're not seeing is the 4,000 a day coming in on specialist visas, where the enemy is within. It's our own government that is allowing for the invasion. And it is an invasion. These are young, fighting age men. They haven't got their wives, children, etc. They're coming over here for a specific purpose. And now more and more people are seeing it. But you've still got too much fannying around with not telling the truth and getting out there saying it. And as soon as you tell people the truth and start speaking about immigration, about what's going on, etc., you now run the risk, the very great risk of being sent to prison for warning people what's actually going on. So,
and that's a crazy part of it too, right? So there's this video here. It's a short clip on Sky News, and I'm sure you've seen this already, but take a listen to this, guys.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
So they have an army of British police officers that are scouring social media for people that are displeased with what's going on. They're calling it hate speech. They're showing up at their doors and even arresting some of these people for something as simple as a retweet. Like, I could tweet something about what's going on over there, and Graham might just simply hit repost on Twitter, and then all of a sudden he's got 2 officers at his door ready to throw him in a cage for not even saying something himself, but for reposting something that I said. Am I getting that correctly?
Not only are you getting that correctly, but the British government have now said they will extradite anyone from America sending out them posts, right? And I've seen lots of different memes coming out and saying to the British, don't know if you're aware of this, but since 1776, go and beep yourself, right? Listen, these people are vile, and it's worse than that, right? Adam, trust me, it's worse than that. We've actually got the military unlawfully that are part of Parliament currently, right? It's called the 77 Brigade. Military intelligence keeping tabs on people like me, right? My earlier show, I couldn't get it live, couldn't get it up. It was doing all different things, right? And it's because more and more people are listening to what I'm saying about the Constitution and the English Constitution. There's no such thing as a British Constitution, but there is a Scottish Constitution, there is an English Constitution, and there's a Welsh Constitution, technically. I mean, Wales is part of England. It was nothing to do with the Union. So, and Northern Ireland is a bolt-on. So everyone needs to understand that more people are started to talk about England, and that's exactly what we need, because it's the Marxists. Karl Marx once said, right? This is what Karl Marx actually said. Every communist revolution has been shipwrecked on the rocks of England. He did not say Britain for a reason. Britain is an island. It's called Great Britain because it contains Great Britain without Ireland, right? That's the British Isles. Great Britain contains 3 countries, 3 separate nations and 3 separate cultures, right? And that's why it's called Great Britain. That's the only reason it's called Great Britain. So again, you've got to respect that and respect the fact that we've got, and again, England was a confederacy. It was a confederacy of shires and counties. Our structure was exported to the United States of America well before the British even existed. But again, you're seeing things I'll give you an example. The Texas border. I mean, again, Texans have started legally fighting back. They've won some great court cases. They've now won the right to continue with building the wall, right?
Yeah.
But people need to understand with Texas, it adopted the English common law in its entirety in 1836 as part of its state constitution. It was reconfirmed in 1840. I'm not having a go at the rest of the states. What I'm actually saying is you are all common law jurisdictions. So now what people are actually seeing is, you know, they're flooding and then they're bussing them out of Texas to different areas. Now you're seeing them go into sanctuary cities. It's the cities that's going to be the targets. And they are aiming for a famine. They are aiming to use all sorts of weaponry, let's say, that we don't even know about. And this is an organised, orchestrated communist takeover of not only England, but also the United States of America. And more and more people are seeing it.
Let me ask you this, Daddy Dragon. Like, these globalists, we'll just call them, these Fabians, that run the government, they're basically bringing in Sharia law to England. Do they think they'll survive that themselves? Like, they're not, like, is that what they like? They want to live under those rules themselves? Do they think they can, like, put up some kind of barrier? Like, I feel like they're creating a monster that is ultimately going to turn and destroy them as well. Like, are they just useful idiots? Are they suicidal? Do they have some island somewhere that once this is past the point of no return that they plan on escaping to? Like, this is what I don't understand. Like, they're creating a world that I can't even, like, they really want to live in that world. You know what I mean? Like, you can't speak freely. You have none of the benefits anymore of Western culture. You've essentially sold it all away for this Sharia no-go zone lifestyle. Why do they want that? Or do they think that there's some way of coming back, and after removing all of the English patriots like yourself, of getting back control of the, like, what, like, this is what I don't understand, is like, what's the ultimate goal here? Because I can't imagine these people want to live under Sharia law.
There's a number of, you have to unpack a few things from that, and some of the people listening to this show won't like me unpacking it, right? I have said this is a clash not of civilizations but of banking systems. There is one element of Islam that completely aligns with Christianity, and that is no usury, right? Mm-hmm. Who is it that wants usury, which destroys society? The Jews and the Jesuits, and it goes back. All roads lead to Rome, right? Mm-hmm. They need that system, and their system is coming apart. The BRICS system, and again, the non-usury system is the best system, right? And it just so happens that Islam and Orthodox Christians are aligned on that. But the rest of it to do with Sharia, and we're talking about the Hadiths, we're talking about the Sunnah of Muhammad, and we're talking about the Quran. And there's two parts of the Quran, right? One was the nice part, if you want to call it that, and one was the nasty part, right? When you take the whole thing together, you're referring to Sharia. The English Bill of Rights forbids Sharia. The English Bill of Rights forbids the Talmud, right? The English Bill of Rights forbids Christian law imposing and punishing people, right? That's what part of it was. So where America gets freedom of a religion, the bit it didn't get, or it doesn't understand because it hasn't actually studied the English Bill of Rights, you've got freedom of religion. That's not an issue. What you cannot do is have any authority and sanction people as a judicial element of that religion. And that is what Sharia is. So the English Bill of Rights forbids it. Again, just to make sure you understand this, Texas has just passed a law that said no Sharia in Texas. It's unlawful. You can't have it, right? So Texans are getting it, right? And they're getting it in a big way. Next thing to say to you, you just said, what is it? Do these people not understand it? You and I both know, and many of this audience who are very intelligent and very switched on, right?
Yeah.
Understand that you can't put certain types of fish into a passive aquarium. Why?
Right.
Because that fish will eat all the other fish and you'll end up with nothing, right?
Yep.
So in this world, we have groups of people. The problem with some of these groups of people, especially Pakistan and Pakistanis, Muslims, and there's some other factions of it, is they interbreed. When I say interbreed, they marry their first cousins, right? Mm-hmm. As they then create low IQs, and it creates a different group of people that just, you can't reason with them, right? That is quite a common function. And in fact, it's already been noted in this country that for the percentage of Pakistanis in the country, the amount of disabilities associated with them and the cost of that is like literally tenfold. But they still do that. There's another group of people that do it as well. They're called travellers, right? The travelling community, or the gypsies, still do that. And you'll notice that they fight a lot. They're disruptive. And so all I'm saying is England stopped all that. Said stop doing it. Even the kings and queens used to, mate with their cousins, and it caused deformities, big chins, all sorts of spinal injuries, and also a lot of them were mad, right? So getting back to you, the question is simple, right? Do they know what they're doing? You'll understand. This audience should understand something else about Islam. Islam wants a global caliphate. What do communists want? they want global control via probably the United Nations, right? Don't forget the first president of the United Nations come from Australia. He was a lawyer, and guess what? He was a Fabian. So you start to see there is a pattern to this, and the only difference between communism and Marxism is method, right? The end result is global control. And if people out there think it's good to have full-on socialism, it doesn't matter what the authoritarian state is. Bearing in mind, I'm on the right, meaning I'm a constitutionalist, so limited government, right? That's how England should be. That's how America should be. Limited government and distributed governance, which is why it's the independent United States. So once people realise it's about the global caliphate and what they want, communism and Islam are aligned. By the way, Russia is not a communist nation anymore. There's about 20% of Russia that are still communist in nature, but that's because they had it for 70, 80 years. But who actually put communism into the USSR? Who was the people who did that? The British. And once people understand what's gone on, the core of communism comes from Britain, right? Karl Marx is still buried with a monument in London. Someone should have dug him up a long time ago and just got rid of him and every negative spirit about him.
Yeah, wow. All right, Daddy Dragon, sit tight, and we're going to go to hour number 2 of today's show. Those of you guys watching on Rumble, DLive, CloudHub, Odyssey, Twitter, please come over to pill.net. We will be broadcasting over there exclusively for the next hour. I'll put the link over in the live chat on Rumble and DLive. First over on Rumble, there you go. We'll throw it over on DLive as well. If you can't get to the link, it's really easy. All you got to do is type in pilled.net to your browser and find us over there at 412 Productions. All of the live channels are across the top of your screen on mobile on the left-hand side, on desktop. There are little thumbnails there. You'll see our black and gold one for 412 Productions. So please come join us for hour number 2 of the show today. I'm going to play a quick video on the other side. We will officially say goodbye to the other platforms. We'll hop over exclusively to pill.net. We'll read through your gold pill chats, and then we'll carry on. I've got more stuff I want to ask our special guest today, Graham Moore, aka Daddy Dragon. But first, let's play this quick little video to break things up a little bit. We'll be right back.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and a big thank you to everyone who has continued over with us on pill.net. I really appreciate all of you guys who jump over there to continue watching with us. Give us a red pill and repost the show if you haven't already done so. Those of you guys who won't be popping over for hour number 2, no worries. We'll be back on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, kicking off another week of deplorable discussions. We should have our good buddy, Scott DeGroat of Woke Societies, joining us on Monday, which we'll look forward to that big time. So make sure you guys tune in for what should be an awesome show. Again, pilled.net in your browser. Find us at 412 Productions if you want to keep hanging out with us for the next hour. Otherwise, have a wonderful Friday night, a great weekend, and we'll catch you guys on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern time.